Okay, let's talk about something that sounds like it's straight out of science fiction, but it's very, very real. We're going to dive into a device that could totally change what it means to lose the ability to speak.
To really get why this is so important, we have to start with a really basic human question. What actually happens when we can no longer speak?
Well, the answer is, it's pretty profound. It's not just about losing the ability to say words, it's about losing a fundamental piece of who you are, your connection to everyone around you, and even your independence.
So let's start by digging into the problem this technology is trying to solve, the day-to-day reality for millions of people who are living in a world of silence.
So this condition is often called dysarthria. It can happen because of a stroke or Parkinson's or ALS. And the really frustrating part, the brain knows exactly what it wants to say. The signals are all there, but the muscles just can't form the words. A really good way to picture it is like trying to type out an urgent message with a broken keyboard, where every single letter is a huge struggle. And yeah, there are existing tools like eye tracking systems, but they can be incredibly slow and honestly just exhausting to use.
But what if? What if there was a more natural, a more fluid way to communicate? Well, this is where a whole new wave of innovation is coming in.
And here it is. Take a look at this. This is the Wearable Intelligent Throat. It's this soft, really lightweight device that just fits comfortably right around the neck. And it's not trying to amplify a weak voice. It's doing something much bigger. It's creating a new one from scratch by listening to the body in a way we've never been able to before.
Right, so the big question is, how does this thing actually work? How do you turn these silent movements into fluent speech? The idea behind it is just incredibly clever.
Okay, so the key idea here is that this device isn't really a microphone. It's a sensor. See, even when someone can't speak out loud, the intention to speak still causes these tiny, super subtle muscle movements in their larynx. This device picks up on those vibrations, these little whispers beneath the skin, and those become the building blocks for speech.
You can pretty much break the whole process down into 3 simple steps. First, it senses those muscle signals we were just talking about. Second, and this is amazing, it also detects emotional cues. And finally, it feeds all that raw data into an AI that does all the heavy lifting.
Okay, let's actually trace the path on this diagram because it lays out the whole process perfectly. Over on the left, you see the device on the patient. It's picking up 2 different kinds of signals: silent speech signals from the throat muscles and pulse signals from the carotid artery. Both of those get fed into AI networks. The speech signals are broken down into what are called tokens. Think of them like the basic sounds of speech, and then an AI, a large language model, rebuilds them into a complete sentence.
So here's the bottom line. The AI isn't just translating, it's interpreting. It takes that raw biological intention to speak and transforms it back into the structured language it was always supposed to be.
So you might be wondering, how well does it actually work? Well, unbelievably well. Early tests with stroke patients have shown an error rate of only 4 to 5%. That kind of accuracy is an absolute game changer for reliable, everyday communication.
But honestly, forget the technical specs for a second and look at this number. We're talking about a more than 50% improvement in user satisfaction compared to the old methods. That tells you everything you need to know about the human impact. It's not just about being understood, it's about feeling less frustrated and way more connected. But wait, it gets even cooler. The technology doesn't just stop at turning movements into words. It goes a step further, into something that makes communication truly human: emotion.
Remember those pulse signals we saw in the diagram? This is where they become so important. By analyzing the patterns of the user's pulse, the system can actually figure out their emotional state, whether they're calm, frustrated, or happy. And that is what separates this device from just another text-to-speech machine.
And this slide right here shows you exactly why that's such a big deal. A basic system might just spit out a flat, robotic sentence like, "I am fine." But a system that's aware of emotion, one that detects a calm and positive pulse, could generate something far more natural and nuanced, like, "I'm feeling much better today." That small change makes all the difference in a real conversation.
So let's pull back for a second. What does all of this mean for the real world? Let's take a look at the bigger picture and where this technology is headed.
The potential here is just huge. For stroke rehab, it can help patients communicate during a really tough recovery. For people with neurodegenerative diseases like ALS, it offers a way to keep their voice as their condition progresses. And whether in a hospital or just at home, it can give someone a level of independence that might have seemed impossible before.
You know, this intelligent throw is actually part of a much bigger, really exciting trend in tech. The move towards what are called invisible interfaces. These are devices that just get out of the way. They integrate so seamlessly with our bodies that we stop thinking of them as external tools. Instead, they just become a natural extension of ourselves.
And that really brings us to a final, pretty powerful thought. We spend a lot of time worrying about AI becoming less human, right? But here, we're seeing the exact opposite. This tech isn't just decoding signals, it's restoring connection, identity, and that fundamental human need to be heard. And in a world that's being shaped by AI, that might just be one of the most human outcomes of all.